What's good, squad? It's the big homie SB23 back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today we're going to talk about honesty is the best policy. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. SB23 on YouTube, Chosen123 on YouTube. Both of those channels have this this content on it. I appreciate everybody for liking and sharing and subscribing, and I'm sending love and good vibes out your way. So honesty is the best policy, and this is another one of those that really is like a universal law, you know, so I might put it under that playlist. In this world we live in, the best approach to it is to be honest, because being honest is being your authentic self. So when you're being honest about the things that you're doing, thinking, and feeling towards other people, then you attract that back to yourself. So anytime that you're moving around and you're not being honest, that means you're not only being shifty or shady towards people that are within your circle and within your energy, but also to yourself. So it's like anytime you lie to somebody else, you're lying to yourself on the inside, you know, and your inner self feels that, because again, at our core, I truly believe that everybody is an honest, genuine person, and they just want to have a good time in life, enjoy life, and enjoy the people around them too, you know. I don't think that anybody really, their goal and their intent is to be negative or harmful or shady. I think that it's just things that happen within our lives that push us to create these behaviors, and then from that, when you repeat a behavior over an extended period of time, then it becomes something that's ingrained within your DNA. But you can't switch it around. So again, it's always better to be honest, you know. And I get it too, because, you know, in my own life, there are times to where I feel like I couldn't be honest or truly myself around certain people for whatever reason. You know, the reason is always has something to do with you. It's not anybody else, because nobody else can control what you do. You know, you control what you do, regardless of what people say. You know what's right and what's wrong, and that's already built and instilled within you when you're a child. You know, you don't need somebody to tell you this is right or wrong. You feel it when you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? You feel the energy behind what you're doing, and you know you know when something that you're doing is good or bad, because you feel that in the moments of you doing it, or before you do it, while you're doing it, and after you're doing it. You feel the energy that comes from whatever you're doing. So again, if you're walking around and you're lying, and you're not being your real authentic self, then you know what you're doing, and you know how it feels when you're putting it out there. So, and again, like, if you understand the universal laws, then you understand that you comprehend that when you're not being authentic, then you are going to attract non-authentic things into your reality. So you will surround yourself with objects that aren't authentic. What do I mean by that? I mean that you'll get objects that you really want, but they won't be authentic to you. So you'll get them, and then they'll have some sort of issues with them. You know, they might not last long. You know, they break down, or they come with some sort of problems connected to it, some sort of bad energy that's connected with it, because you put bad energy out there. So therefore, that's what you attracted. And people, you can attract people who do the same things that you're doing. So if you're, again, walking around being shady and not being honest, not being real, not being authentic, then you're going to attract that type of people around you. And then the community that you have that surround you will be full of those type of beings. And then within that, when you surround yourself with that type of energy, it's hard to win in life. It's hard to elevate. It's hard to move on and level up, because you're stuck on a certain vibe. You know, you're stuck on a low vibration that'll have you out here looking crazy. So honesty is the best policy, because the truth will set you free. And my mother told me that at a young age. She said, anytime if you do something, own up to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't lie. Don't try to live in the shadows or hide in the shadows and play a part that you're not. And every time that I did find myself in a situation to where I didn't move like how she told me to move, it always ended up going bad for me. So it always brought me back to the things that she would tell me as a kid about being honest and be a man about things. If you get caught out doing something, then that you know you're not supposed to do, then own up to it. And then if you get caught up in it, then be willing to take what comes with that. So I remember she used to tell me when I was a kid that if I ever ended up going to jail, not to call her. Don't call her, because I knew what I was doing before I did it to get me within that situation. So when it did inevitably happen that I ended up going to jail, when the bailiff came to me and said, you got a phone call, and who do you want to, or do you want to use your phone call? And in my mind, I felt like it was only a few numbers that I could remember at the time. And he was like, do you want to call your mother? And I said, absolutely not. Because my mother had already told me, if you get into a situation that you find yourself in jail, she wasn't coming up to bail me out or none of that stuff, because whatever I did get myself in there, that was on me. Now, of course, if it was something that I had no control over, and I wasn't the cause of it, she would have came and did get me. But if I had made some actions and put myself in a situation that it was my fault, then to stand on what I did and take the hit like a man. So that's exactly what I did. I ended up going to jail. I've been arrested plenty of times, but I've only been to jail a handful. And when that did happen, yeah, I never called her. I never used the call for her. I called somebody else I knew to try to help me out of the situation, but I never called her, because I always remember her telling me, just be honest and take it like a man if you're doing something that you know you're supposed to be doing. So that's what I'm along the lines of what I'm talking about. The truth shall set you free. And that reminds me of one of my favorite movies ever, from one of my favorite actors ever, Jim Carrey, Liar Liar. The whole premise of that movie was exactly what I'm talking about. In that movie, he was playing a character, and his role was a father of this kid. But within his life, he was a lawyer. And, oftentimes as lawyers, whether your client is in the right or in the wrong, you try to win the case by any means. So within him having this case, he's manipulating the system, and he's not being honest in the courtroom, and he's also not being honest within his life. So he's not being there for his kid in the way that he should, and instead of being real about it, and understanding where he's dropping the ball as a father, he kept making up excuses, and he kept lying, telling his kid he was gonna do this and do that, not showing up and all that types of stuff. And if you watch the movie, his life ends up going to shambles because he's not being an honest person. He's not being authentic. He's not being real. He's not sticking to his word. And that's another thing that for me, is a big thing for me, is sticking to my word. I was built off of that also. My mother also said, like, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. So for me, that's one thing that, like I say, I don't keep it, because I'm such the person that if I do something, if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. That if there's people around me who don't live by that, then I don't like to keep them within my circle, because that right there shows the intent of their authenticity towards not only the people around them but themselves. So if somebody says they're gonna do something and then they don't even do it, they don't do nothing like they say they're gonna do, then that's an untrustworthy person to be around, because they'll just say anything in order to get their way, but when it comes time for them to do what they got to do, they're not going to hold up their end of the bargain. They're just doing it to get whatever they can get out of it, and then sliding off in the darkness. But if you are a person who's dealing with somebody like that and that happens to you, you don't have to worry about that, because again, law of attraction. So whatever goodness that you put out towards that person or towards their family or whoever it may be, you're going to get that energy back regardless if they reciprocate it or not, because the universe is going to reciprocate the good energy that you put out. So you don't have to worry about that. But for the person who is walking around not being authentic, your life is going to fall into shambles, and you're going to have to pay that karma, because you're not being real, you're not being honest. And the universe respects honesty and authenticity. Fakeness and hate are not gonna they can't survive in the real world for very long. You know, even if you are winning somewhat in life while you're doing this thing, eventually it's gonna catch up to you. It always does. That's just the law of karma. So and again, back to the Liar Liar movie, if you watch the movie again, he was doing all these things and his life ended up going to shambles. But at the end, he was able to turn it around because he realized his ways of moving were not only affecting his kid and his livelihood and the people around him, but he also started to understand that it was hurting himself, because the people around him were starting to disown him because he wasn't being honest. He couldn't keep his word. He wasn't being honest. So even the people who worked for him, or the people who worked for him and his close associates started to not like him. They started to distance themselves away from him because they themselves noticed that he wasn't an honest person. He would just say whatever and then end up going for things for himself but not be thinking about anybody else. So, and that's not where you want to be. Again, that goes back to one of my videos. I talked about burning bridges. You don't want to burn bridges, so you want to be authentic and real. You want to be honest so that you can keep the good support that you have and the good people around you, so that when things do happen, people will take you for your word and not think that you're just talking BS. Because at some point, people are going to catch on to your BS, and then once people catch on, it's like wildfire. Once one person catches on, then the next person is going to catch on, and then so on and so on. And that often happens because you have to fabricate these lies in order to, you have to keep fabricating lies. And at some point, you have lied so much that it gets jumbled into this thing to where you don't even remember what the original lie was. And now you are going to slip up somewhere and get exposed. So, and I talked about that in one of my most recent videos too. You don't want to get exposed out here as a liar, because once you get painted in those lower vibrational energies, like if you get painted out to be a liar or a hater or a cheater, whatever that is, it's hard to get that stain up off you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to wash that away. So it's not impossible, but it's hard to wash it away once somebody sees you in that light. So in order to be able to walk around within good graces and not have to worry about anything, not to have the people that are in your inner circle who really care about you, who are really there for you, who want the best for you, in order to keep them around and not scare them off. You want to be real and authentic. You want to not only be thinking about yourself, but thinking about the well-being of the people around you also, because it's not just about you. It's about everybody that's within your energy. So that's what I'm saying. You know, again, even in that movie, it ended up being his secretary that worked for him that ended up saving him in the end. He ended up going to jail, and I think he called somebody. I think he called his ex-wife, and then she hung up on him because she got tired of his lies. And then his secretary, who he ended up, he had actually done her wrong too, but she had enough heart to come and save him from his situation, and then he was able to turn it around. So again, it's those type of people in your life. I said this in my other video. It's those type of people in your life who, even if you do them wrong, they love you so much. They have so much love for you, and they want to see you do better. They know that you have a better side of yourself within you, that oftentimes when you get yourself in a situation, those are the people you're going to have to reach out to. And you don't want to do something so terrible so that when and if you find yourself in that situation and you reach out, they don't answer the phone, or you know, they're not quick to want to help you. You know what I'm saying? So again, for me personally, that's why I'm authentic within my life, and I tell people what it is up front, and I'm real and I'm honest, and I make it a point to let everybody in my life know that they hold value to me. Which is why, like I said in one of my recent videos, I look at everybody in my life as family. If you're in my life and you're a friend, I look at you as family, because you hold value to me, because you're a valuable person. Everybody has value. It doesn't matter what level you're on, financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. Everybody has value, you know. So you can always learn something off of somebody if you take the time to listen to what they have to say. So, and that's the way that I live my life. You know, I've talked to random strangers on the street. I've had people who, you know, poor people walk up on me and want to have a conversation and, you know, ask for some money, and I'll talk to them though. I'll talk to them, and oftentimes if you listen, they'll have some knowledge for you that you wouldn't be able to get from the regular, everyday, ordinary person. So that's why being real and authentic is key, because you'll attract certain people into your life that you wouldn't even think that you can learn something from, or to give you some sort of something, and they end up being somebody pivotal in your life to help you, even if it's a passing stranger, and they just happen to say something to you. Because oftentimes, you know, the universe works through people. You know, the devil doesn't come as this scary being. The devil comes in it works through people around you. So, and the Most High is like it's the same way. So it's like, if you want to break it down, you know, take the devil and God out of it. If you just want to break it down to good and bad energy, those work through the people around you. It doesn't come as some sort of like deity coming out of the sky, or, you know, some sort of demon coming out of the ground or something like that and attacking you. No, it works through the people around you. So if somebody has a low vibration around you, then that's when a darker entity can go within them and then use them as a vessel in order to get into your life and mess with your life. So the people that are dealing with these entities 9 times out of 10 don't even know that this is happening, but that's because they're in a low vibration. They don't even know they've been taken over by an entity, and, you know, it's being used, and they're afflicting pain on the people around them. And, you know, it's the same thing with the good energy too. Good energy will come through people. And if somebody is vibrating on a high plane, then oftentimes you'll get somebody introduced into your life. Again, like I said, you might not even think that this person has that type of energy, but then once you start talking to them, and you will feel it. You'll be like, oh, this feels different than a regular conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You want to be authentic and real and honest, so that you can attract those type of people into your life, so that you can get those good motivational downloads or spiritual downloads or whatever it is that you need from that person in order to elevate your life. And also, you want to absolutely make sure that the people that are in your everyday existence, that you're being real and authentic with them, so that they can return the favor. You'll attract that from them also, and you'll create a space to where everybody will feel comfortable being themselves. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, being honest and being authentic, all that is just being yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people think that they have to put on a mask and put on a facade of being something for certain type of people, or for whoever's around them, but you don't. You know, be your real authentic self. And if somebody can't accept you for your real authentic self, then they're not really meant for you. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you got to put a mask on around somebody, then those people aren't meant for you. But again, also, there are people who put masks on just because that's just the way that they're operating too. So for those people, you want to drop that mask and be your authentic self, because there's people around you who will accept you for exactly who you are. You don't have to play a role. You know what I'm saying? You know, in this world, we're not actors unless you're actually an actor, you know, or an actress. You don't have to play a role unless you're actually getting paid to do so in some sort of movie or play or whatever the case may be. But in real life, you don't have to play a role. Be your authentic self, and that's how you attract blessings towards you. Once you're your authentic self, then the universe says, oh, okay, this person loves themselves. They're not scared to be who they are. Okay, here, let me give you this, you know, give you this, so that you can be more of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's the message that I want to spread to everybody out there. You know, it's okay to be your authentic self. There is a group of people out there who will accept you for you, and when you are your authentic self, they will naturally gravitate towards you, and the people who aren't meant for you will naturally repel from your life, and you just keep moving the way that you need to move. Honesty is the best policy, because the truth sets you free, and it's such a true statement. Like I said, my mother told me that at a young age, and every time that I lied or I was moving around and not being honest in some sort of way in the shadows, it always ended up biting me. It always, what you do in the dark comes to the light. So again, whatever I was doing I always ended up getting exposed for it at the end of the day. So again, that's why I decided at an early age that I wasn't going to move that way. And you know, especially later on in my life, as I got older and matured, I realized that everything that she was telling me was factual. And that's the way that I live my life. I'm an honest person. I'm real and authentic. And you know, I find that admitting my faults gives me power, because when you can be openly admit your faults and the things that you've done and overcome in your life, then it takes the power away from anybody else who might try to paint some sort of light on you, because you have no problem admitting it. You know what I'm saying? People will try to shame you for the things that you've done. But if you can not proudly, because there's nothing proud in what you've done, but when I say proud, it just means that you're so proud of your authentic self that you don't have a problem admitting your faults and the things and the mistakes that you've made in your life. So you can be proud in the fact that you overcome these things and you no longer do those things. That's where I was coming from when I said you can be proud, say it proudly. You're not proud of the things that you've done, but you're proud of the fact that you can recognize your faults and that you've grown from them. So that's the key. You know, just be real. Again, in any situation, be real. You know, anybody that's around me knows I'm real and authentic. I'm gonna keep it real all the time. I'm gonna keep it 100, keep it a stack, keep it a thou wow, whatever you want to have, whatever phrase you want to use, slang you want to put on it. I'm always keep it a buck. I'm not gonna cap or none of that stuff. You know, so because there's no reason to. For what? You know what I'm saying? You know, nobody out here is above anybody else. So the only reason why people lie a lot of times is because you put somebody else on a pedestal. You feel like if you tell the truth, you're gonna somehow get in trouble. And it's like, nah, just if you ain't moving around the way in a way that's gonna hurt anybody, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Be real. And even if you do, let's say you do, if you do end up moving around like that, and you find yourself doing stuff that you know that you really ain't proud of or that you shouldn't be doing, the best thing you could do is just own up to it and be real with the person. Start being real, and then from that point, vow to yourself that you're not going to be a person out here that's going to be playing on people's emotions, lying, and capitalizing off of shady maneuvers. You know what I'm saying? Because that doesn't help you or anybody else. So again, just honesty is the best policy, man. I'm trying to tell you. Watch that movie Liar Liar and see how it ends in the end. In the end, he ended up fixing his life and having a better situation between his son. He actually ended up getting back with his ex-wife, his son's mother. He actually ended up back with her in the end of the movie, and they ended up being a family again, all because he finally was able to stop being a liar and start being a authentic person, standing on the things that he said he was going to do. He stood on it, made sure that he did them. He put the people in his life and made them a priority instead of his work. And because that's, again, like I said in one of my other videos, it's more about the people in your life than the things that you do. The people in your life matter more than the things that you do, because at the end of the day, when you really need somebody to be there for you, then those are the people who are going to be there, the ones who really care for you. Your job and all the stuff that you do is not going to be there for you in times of need. You need people in your corner who really care about you and love you unconditionally, that are going to be there. So again, if you watch that Liar Liar movie, great movie. If you watch it to the end, if you watch it from the beginning to the end, you'll see how it starts in the beginning and where his life is at. But at the end of it, he completely changed his life around. And yeah, he had to go through the karma that he built up from all those lies and those shady maneuvers. But once he dealt with all that and he started to walk on that honest and legit path, then his life completely changed, turned around. He ended up getting his family back. I think he might even have started his own law firm with that same secretary. I can't remember, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but y'all know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, honesty is the best policy. You know, be real, be honest, be authentic, and that way you can stand within your true power and you can walk around here with your head held high, in a dignified manner, like the king and queen that you are. Whoever's watching this, man or woman, you can walk around with that king and queen mentality and not feel any type of way towards anybody else, because you know you ain't doing nobody wrong, you ain't causing nobody harm, and you're not causing yourself harm. So the truth shall set you free, y'all. Be honest, be true. And if you did, again, if you got somebody out there that you did do some messed up stuff to, man, just apologize and then reconcile that situation, just like he did in the movie. Apologize and start to move the right way. Reconcile that connection, because you never know when you might need that person who was really there for you, who really cared for you unconditionally. Because again, that person probably still don't even really feel no type of way. They just can't have that type of energy within their life. So that's so they back off from you. Yeah, but if you turn it around, you start doing the right things, then yeah, that person is gonna be there for you, because they loved you the way that they loved you for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They see something within you that's better than the way that you've been moving. So, all right, y'all, it's the big homie. I'm out of here. I'ma holla.